Hey everyone, it's Chris Berry here. In this video, I'm going to teach you how you can close more people, get more leads, and the pitfalls that you need to avoid starting off as a coach or whether it be scaling. Stay tuned to check it out.
All right, so I'm here with Chris Berry. So I met Chris because he was actually the CEO at my old company. That company was doing anywhere from 500K a month to it got to like peak point where, tapping a million a month. And Chris, you have a lot of background, I would say in all aspects of the business, right? But when I met you, you were COO. You were really handling the overall operations, and you kind of worked through the different paths: sales, marketing, and then eventually over to operations and keeping the beast running, right? So, Chris, with that, maybe you could share with everybody your journey, high level overview. How did you actually start TD Coach?
Yeah, so obviously when we met at the time, I was the COO of a eight-figure coaching company. We do anywhere from, let's say, 700 to a mil a month. Uh, After about 2 years of doing that, I transitioned out and got back into more of a sales agency perspective. So I'd come into coaches' businesses as an external sales arm. But as I was selling, I came to the realization that so many coaches, their operations, it's so much more than just selling. You have to focus on the marketing, the delivery, all these different strategic partnerships. And if you don't have those things dialed in, then you're fighting against the current. Yeah, you can get sales, but it makes it so much harder. So that's why I really started diving deep into TD Coach, to giving coaches and consultancy systems and other operations that they need to really set themselves up for success long term.
That makes sense. So then when we kind of like really boil that down, right? What's your mission with TD Coach?
Yeah, the main mission is to give coaches and consultants the tools, platforms, systems that they need to grow their coaching programs and really help more people, because the mission and vision behind TD Coach is much bigger than just making money online. We believe that this coaching and consulting industry is the new way of education, because we know that the traditional way is completely inundated and has a lot of problems with it. So we see this also as a method to help people learn better and coaches make more money at the same time.
Absolutely. And one thing I've noticed is there are coaches that they just jump into coaching, right? And they don't really have a skill set. And there's other people that are genuinely experts. Like there was a guy that I was speaking to. He's a client with us now. He just sold a company for $30 million and he's launching his coaching offer, right? And the biggest problem, even for him, is like, dude, where do I get these clients from? Right? Even though he has business background, right? So a lot of coaches and consultants struggle with finding clients. What are some of the best ways that you found for these guys to get up and running and actually start getting clients that they can help?
Yeah, that definitely is one of the biggest things, that, as you said, people that are extremely skilled and have a lot of knowledge, they don't understand what needs to get done in order to run a coaching business and start getting these clients. So the first thing whenever I start working with someone is you have to understand, where is your ideal client hanging out first, right? If I'm targeting a 20-year-old college kid, it's going to be different than that of the 50-year-old executive in regards to where they hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Once you understand that ideal client and where they're hanging out, you're going to want to go directly to that source. So that could be through LinkedIn, it could be through Facebook, through Instagram. You can go organic, and organic is definitely a longer term strategy that you want to leverage. The fastest way to go about it is definitely paid ads, because you're able to directly tap into this market, directly coordinate with these people and communicate, and then eventually sell them into your products or services.
Mm. Got it. And with that being said, once the person does get somebody to show up, right? It's like, how do they really show the value and their offer, right, to actually have that potential client move forward with them? And what are some of the best ways that you recommended to do that?
That's one of the biggest things I see, because like I said before, people have a lot of knowledge in a certain area, but other aspects not as much. So what most coaches and consultants will do, they'll just get on a call, start having a conversation back and forth, yet they really don't have a clear established sales process that they're going to walk them through. So
Mm-hmm.
one of the first things I always do is get clear on, what is your sales process? How do you go through? And especially when you're crafting your sales presentation, there's a specific framework that you really want to follow to make sure that you're breaking any limiting beliefs, that you're building trust, you're essentially understanding, what does this person want? Because most amateur salespeople, they'll just try to sell, but you really need to understand what the other person wants. And so when you understand this framework and then you craft it accordingly, it dramatically increases the people that actually close when you get on calls with them, so you can become their clients.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so that makes sense. And a lot of people, they don't know what they don't know, right? So what are some of the biggest roadblocks for somebody, whether they're starting a coaching program, maybe it's a digital product, what are some of those big roadblocks that they don't even know they're going to run into?
Yeah, for people that are just starting, one of the biggest problems I see is they try to tackle everything at once. And don't get me wrong, building these systems to have long-term success is great. If you're focusing on 10 different things all at once, each of these things are only going to get 10% of your attention. So you have a smaller probability of actually getting success. So that's one of the biggest mistakes I see these people making versus really just focusing on first order principles. What is the most important thing I need to do? Right. And typically that's, like I said before, identifying your ideal client. What are you helping them with? Making some sort of product outline. Obviously, when it comes to crafting the product, it will vary on a lot of factors, how much involvement, everything, but essentially making your product and then going into actually selling it, marketing, selling it, and so on and so forth. So to recap, the biggest problem that people face in the beginning is they lack focus and they start building everything versus like, let's focus on what's most important, get some clients, get some wins, get some testimonials, and then scale up from there.
That makes sense. So Chris, what are a few things coaches can do to sell more people on their products and services and ultimately, have a bigger impact?
It's going to vary obviously on a lot of different factors in the time frame. First things first, refining a sales presentation so that when you're getting on the phone with people or a Zoom with people is vitally important to sell more people. That's one of the biggest problems I see with coaches and consultants. On top of that too, most people don't put themselves out there enough. This could be from paid traffic, this could be organic. The more of a brand that you build, especially in today's state of the coaching industry, is really important for coaches because there's so many fake gurus out there or people that claim to do things and they never deliver on it. So you putting yourself out there and really building a strong brand and you showcase the results you've been able to get for your clients will definitely help you get more clients.
Okay, awesome. So AI is definitely hot, right? Like there's people that know about it and there's people that don't know about it, right? So for coaches and consultants, what are some of the different forms that they can use AI to actually automate their business and buy back some time?
So it's actually a big problem that I saw previously when working with different coaches, specifically this one woman, Vanessa, that I worked with. Her whole thing was actually helping other businesses, I should say, implement AI within it. And the biggest problem that we saw when I was working with her and improving the delivery side of things, it would be a lack of focus. These coaches, once again, they try to go all over the place and try 10 different AI tools at once and adding complexity of stuff that they didn't really even understand. So when it comes to AI, one of the most important things that people can do is keep it simple and start with tasks that you're already doing and find ways that you can automate it. One of the simplest ones that I highly recommend for people is ChatGPT. You can go ahead and utilize, and maybe it doesn't even fully replace the stuff you're doing, but if it can take a task that used to take you 20 minutes and bring it down to 2 minutes, that saves you a lot of time, especially as you're going at economies of scale and doing more of that. So using tools like ChatGPT, other tools like captions to help with editing, to make editing faster. There's a lot of different things out there that you can do that's also going to vary based off of your specific needs as a coach.
Okay, that makes sense. And what are some of the biggest problems, I guess, with, so let's just say a coach is doing 20K a month, right? And they're trying to scale to 100K. What's the biggest problem that you see them facing most often?
Couple of things I see for coaches that are at 20K a month and they're stuck. Number one, they have negative word of mouth. So they're selling people, yet they're not really getting results for them. And it's hurting their business in the fact of these not happy clients telling other people. And on top of that too, you're not able to increase the lifetime value of these customers, which is one of the best ways to actually grow your business. So that's one of the things. And then second of all too, they really haven't tapped into the different marketing channels. They have been able to grow primarily through word of mouth, a little bit of ads or things along those lines. If you were able to really tap into paid traffic, make a consistent marketing ecosystem where you could acquire customers at a net positive, that's going to be the best way to go ahead and do it. So focusing on that as well and continue to also build your brand within it is a way that will really help you scale from that 20K to the 100K plus mark.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Chris. A lot of you leave comments and send DMs to me telling me that you need help. Do me a favor. I'm going to tell you the best way to get a hold of me. Shoot me a text message right now at 949-990 949-990-5808. Once again, that's 949-990-5808. I'll help you with whatever you guys need. I got your back. Let's get back to the video.
Gotcha. And for coaches and consultants that are, again, around that 10 to 20K a month, right? And they're looking to grow, where should they be spending their time as the owner? Like assuming that you came in and helped them, right? Where is the best place for them to spend their time to really grow their business and hit those 100, 200K months?
There are two things that need to be considered where a coach and consultant should focus their time. Number one, you have to understand you need to generate money in the business or else the business dies. So I say acquisition, AKA marketing and sales, is definitely one of the most important things that you need to do. In the same sense, if I have an owner or coach that is absolutely terrible at sales and marketing and they can't stand doing it, they hate it, it oftentimes will make sense to bring in a full-time salesperson, commission-based or something like that, so the coach can really focus on their lane of genius and continue to grow that within the business. Because if you can have an expert at sales come in and help you build that, and you can really do what you're good at of delivering, getting results for your clients and have that build, that also can help catapult you to the next level. So it's going to vary on those two factors, definitely putting an emphasis on revenue being generated into the business though.
Okay, amazing. And obviously, right now you're working with clients that are looking to scale, right? But what would you say was the biggest lesson you learned from, being the operator of an 8-figure coaching business?
It's a great question. There's a lot of different situations or problems, you could say, that arise at different stages of the business, because doing 300K a month is different than 700K a month, and so on and so forth. As you're growing, understanding that it can't be just you. And that's one of the biggest problems that I see coaches and consultants doing, especially one woman I was working with, Vanessa. She is an absolute boss at real estate. She has thousands of doors that she has in multifamily, and she's always like that go-get-it girl, and nobody can do it better than me, which works to a certain degree. In this industry, if you're trying to take on everything yourself and you don't have the right systems and team in place, you're going to wear yourself out. So one of the biggest things when I was working with her is just getting her the mindset of, yes, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the same maybe level of delivery that you might do. If we can get a person to 70 or 80% of your level and allow you to go focus on something else, that is vitally important. So that's definitely one of the biggest lessons I learned, because as you're doing 700K, $1 million a month, and you have thousands of high ticket clients, it's very difficult for you to only do it yourself. So understanding how to build teams and not only hire them, but really train them, continue to keep them motivated, continue to have them improve every single day, and make sure all of the different aspects of the business are functioning accordingly, is definitely one of the biggest lessons I learned during that time.
Amazing. And for the coaches that are maybe just getting started, right, what should they focus on to really launch the right way? How do they ensure that they have success, they're getting results for their clients, and really get things rolling?
It's funny, before I actually got into the coaching industry, I was very heavily involved in the startup space. So traditional startups, raising capital from VCs and everything. And I actually ended up helping build a couple of these different things from the ground level. And on top of that, teaching other people the very early stages of startups. And one of the first things that is always taught, don't go out and start building this product, running this business, unless you have actually got validation from the market. And it's the same problem that I see so many coaches and consultants making. They start building this product, they spend all of these hours and content and everything, yet they have zero validation from the market that this is actually what they want. So one of the first things that I'd recommend for coaches as they're just getting started, once again, identify your ideal client. Once you have that, what are the problems that these people are facing? And then from there, actually start crafting your product around these problems that your ideal client is coming across. Once that's done, you don't need to make the entire module. Like, you can sell and start making money without even having the program built. You want to first go ahead and make a high level overview. What are the different steps or journeys or modules inside of this program, and then start selling that. And that's typically the best way that you can get started in a very fast fashion, have market validation, and not spend a bunch of time and money building something that ultimately doesn't turn out to be fruitful for you.
Okay, that makes sense. And then for the coaches that are doing maybe high 5 figures a month, 50, 60, 70, 80K, dude, what does it really take to break through to the next level and actually have a machine that's generating clients for them?
There's going to be a couple of different aspects, and it will vary based on each of these coaches and consultants businesses. Someone might be really strong at sales, but their product is absolutely terrible. So the things I would tell these people doing high five figures to look at and identify to get to the next level is, number one, how's your delivery in your product? Are you actually delivering and helping people, or every single person just failure? Because if so, you're going to have negative word of mouth. It's going to make it really hard for you to grow, especially long term. Number two, look at your marketing. Do you actually have a marketing ecosystem built to where you have consistent leads coming in that are generated? And then on the other side of marketing, actually sales. Is your sales team dialed in? Are the little things being done? Are they being called quickly? Are they being followed up with? All of these different things. At this point, people that are typically doing high five figures, you're going to want to have a dedicated salesperson instead of just that coach doing it. So that's definitely something to look into as well. And then just overall within the same thing I spoke about previously with teams, are you trying to do everything, and are you, we'll call, being pulled in so many directions that you don't have the right attention units? And at that point, does it make sense to start offloading different parts of your business, whether it be a VA, whether it be an onboarding manager, delivery person, sales, whatever that is? So those are the three main things I'd recommend to look at. Number one, your delivery. How is that? And are you having positive or negative word of mouth? Number two, acquisition system. So the marketing. Do you have an actual ecosystem? And then can you convert on those leads that are generated? And then lastly, is the founder too spread thin to where they're not being effective because they're trying to handle too much? And at that point, do you need to go ahead and hire and bring on other people?
Okay, amazing. And how would you say, because you've been in the coaching space now for, you're an OG in the space, right? So how has it changed over the last few years from where was that maybe 5 years ago? What are some of the biggest changes you've seen?
One of the biggest transitions we're seeing now is two-pronged. Number one, there's a lot of coaches and gurus out there that are claiming to do things and they don't follow up. So the levels of trust of these coaches and consultants is significantly decreased, which obviously will adjust the approach that we need to do. That's number one. In the same sense, though, it's funny because the online coaching space is becoming more legitimized. And the fact that more and more people are seeing the decreased value of going to university, spending $100,000 on a piece of paper that really doesn't give you that much benefit in the workplace as it used to. So it's kind of the mix of both things. And when you position yourself as a person that has trust in this space and you start building a brand and everything like that, that can really help. So that's definitely one of the biggest things I've seen in regards to shift of it's becoming more legitimized, but in the same sense too, there's a lot of fakes out there. So there's also lower trust, and just even in society as a whole, we're at, in recorded history, one of the lowest points of trust than we have ever had before. So understanding that and the mistrust that people have is really important for understanding how you're going to want to position your business to be successful.
Amazing. All right. So that's where, it's how it's changed. So where do you see the coaching industry, Chris, going over the next, 5-10 years?
Yeah, for me, I'd say the coaching business and online coaching space, all of this is going to continue to get further legitimized and be seen as a real competitor to traditional education, specifically universities. Instead of a person going and spending 4 years and $100,000, they can go ahead and pay X expert in sales, X expert in e-commerce, X expert in nutrition to learn a specific skill that they want to for a fraction of the cost and a fraction of the time to actually get the result. So it's really exciting where it's going. We're already seeing a lot of positive shifts in that direction. And as we continue to go through, and as we talked about previously, making sure there's also trust built within this, because that's one of the hard part. You have a lot of people that are claiming certain things, they don't deliver on it. So also making sure that the levels of trust and delivery from these various coaches is important to make sure that we can really see this industry as legitimate and then continue to see as an alternative to traditional education.
So Chris, a lot of people, they struggle with time. They struggle with management. And that's one thing I've always appreciated about you. So I know that, outside of, working with businesses, right, dude, you'll put in 100 miles a week, right? So how do you actually find the time to do that?
It comes to being organized and make sure you have everything planned. I live by my calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it's not real and it doesn't happen. So if I leave myself open to not having all of these things planned, you'll find yourself having a tendency to actually not get them done. So that's one of the first things that I always recommend for people if they want to do more. Start planning things out on the calendar and just don't even make it an emotional decision. It's just, hey, I have it in the calendar. Here's what I need to do regardless of my emotions. And you just execute upon it, because otherwise you'll find so many time sucks such as social media, relaxing, sitting around, that just start creeping into your life.
Hey guys, I wanted to tell you that you are the true coaches and the real students. You made it till the end of the video. Do me a favor, share this with a friend who wants to go to another level. Also, make sure you like the video, comment below so I know who you are, subscribe, and turn on your notifications for the channel, as we will be dropping more valuable content every single day. See you soon.